It's great to be here. And this is the talk about exploring new frontiers. So I want to introduce our panelists today. I'm going to have each of them tell you their names, and then the new frontier that they're looking into exploring and their companies are around. So Gigi, if you want to start.
I'm Gigi, and the CSO of the Mycel. And the Mycel, we're making the material for the mycelium. Mycelium is the root of the fungi. And also our company spun off the Hyundai Motor Grow in 2020. And also we try to expand our business for the home interior and also fashion business from the 3 years ago. And also we're really exciting to introduce our material to the Future Fabric Expo.
Roni.
So my name is Roni Gamzon, and I'm the co-founder and chief commercial officer at Biofluff. We make 100% bio-based materials that are all these fluffy materials for fashion, interiors, and toys. We started from fashion as alternatives to fur, fleece, shearling, and then recently have been expanding into interior design and plush toys.
Oh, please, Arthur.
So my name is Arthur Gaudenz. I'm a designer and co-founder of a company that's named Polimair. We are not in the fashion realm, we do furniture. We're actually the one making the chair that are on stage. And basically the idea of the company is to try to showcase that plastic and recycled plastic specifically can be shown in a very different light. If you manage to work it differently, in our case it's 100% recycled and it's solid injection. So the pieces are really sturdy, heavy, and it feels, it does not feel hollow, it does not feel cheap.
By the way, we're all sitting on his chair right now.
So
just so you get an idea of the designs. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, she didn't know. Okay, Martina, please.
Yes, I'm Martina. I'm the co-founder of Human Ocean. We eco-conceive and produce fabrics produced in short circuit in France, which are naturally dyed and which are on a zero waste trajectory, and which are completely transparent on the production circuit. And what we aim is actually to contribute to a change of the paradigm of production and distribution of finished textiles through our methodology of authentication, thanks to the standard of excellence Care-Mer.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to address a couple of things. We want to talk about well-being within the interiors, but I also want to talk about why you think the interiors with sustainability has taken so much time, or compared to fashion, and of course before that, compared to food. So I don't know, maybe we could start with Gigi right now, your thoughts on that, because it's certainly been behind the fashion sustainability curve or awareness.
Yeah, so I can feel the difference between fashion industry and the home interior, because like we did the business for the fashion industry for the 3 years, and also we tapping for the home interior for the 2 years ago. So I feel a little bit different, because like the fashion industry has following the trend, and also they also care about the LCA data and the DPP, something like we should prefer like in a sustainability environment. But for the home interior, that is more like the sensitive about like the VOC emission, or like something like for the health and the well-being. So we should have to prove all the data very accurately. So that's the reason why our Mycel also prepare for the DPP. So DPP is kind of really important to like tapping for the industry, for the home interior especially. So I think it's kind of really harder than the fashion industry for the home interior. Yeah.
That's a fair statement. Roni, you've just really launched yourself hugely into interiors and worked. In fact, at Milan Fashion Design Week, you had loads and loads of collaborations. So what's changed in your business that you've suddenly become? You started off in fashion and you're really launching into interiors now.
Well, what we're seeing is that there's a lot growing awareness about what is in your home.
Right.
So, the Plastic Detox came out recently in Netflix, and it talks about all of these toxic chemicals and materials that are in our home, and we're seeing more and more consumer awareness around all these products, not just what we're putting on our body, obviously what we're putting into our body, but actually what is around us. What are we sleeping on? What are we cuddling up with at night? What are we sitting on? So we are seeing this big consumer awareness. And also in the brand side, I think a lot more interior design brands are generally inspired by fashion, and you do see that, for example, in Milan Design Week, there's so much crossover between the fashion brands and the interior design brands. So that crossover is now becoming not only in the marketing side and the partnerships and the shows that they do, but also in terms of the materials, the material collaborations. This show even is growing more and more into that interior design sector, because it's just another area where all these materials are not being considered enough.
Arthur. So Arthur, you have a bit of an issue as well. So I want you to maybe tell us, you're using recycled plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very interesting because there's been a lot of talk, just like Roni said, about the issues with plastics. But how are you tackling that on your designs as well?
So for us, it was a big issue from the get-go. I feel like the reason why furniture is late in the conversation, especially furniture, not just the home interior, but furniture in this space, is because maybe fashion is a bit keener on trying new things, because the lifespan of a product can be shorter. It's easier to prototype and go with this kind of easy-going flow, basically. And on the furniture realm, it takes a lot of time, because you have to manufacture products that are let's say a bit more constrained, so it takes a lot of time. And for plastic specifically, when we arrived into the space back in 2022, there was basically two ways to go with plastic furniture. The first one was basically just doing it the old-fashioned way and doing like regular virgin plastic furniture, and we all know this, and this is the plastic furniture that we've all been used to. And the second one was trying to experiment with what we call sheet plastic, which is basically just thermal compression big sheets of plastic that are then either cut by hand or CNC'd and used as a part of the furniture. The problem with this is that because it's plastic, as soon as you touch it becomes dangerous for the environment, for yourself. We've well established by now that most of the plastic that we do get into our organism is mostly from food-related components. So it would be your bento to store your food, your cutting plate plastic or stuff like this. So the way we work at Polimair is to say, basically, if the plastic is 100% recycled and it is solid injected, we kind of get rid of 99% of the hazard of physical damage, for a simple reason, is that the plastic that is harmful to us is the one that is in direct contact with the exterior. So what we do is that those chairs are only for interior spaces, so no UV light, no changes in hygrometry and stuff like this. And then what we do is the fact that we do it solid, so the pieces are really heavy. It means that 95% of the material itself is within a shell of plastic. So it will never see the light of day, it will never be exposed to the elements. So that's kind of the goal. And then we use polypropylene, which is a well-known plastic because it's well used, but also is one of the least toxic, and ones that generate no COV, which is organic volatile.
Your
component.
sourcing is very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to share that, where your source comes from.
So the sourcing, it could change, but as of right now, the sourcing comes from medical waste of a hospital here in Belgium, actually. And the idea is that it's from those CPR sheets, plaques, to do like blood sampling tests that we used a lot during COVID. And this is very good plastic because we feel like medical plastic is kind of the last place we're going to get rid of plastic, basically. So if you have this plastic who has a first life that is very meaningful because it had a lot of meaning and it made a lot of contribution to our society, and then you use it to basically pull it into what is still now considered as the last remaining object, which is a furniture. Like furniture is an object that you can give out to your children, that can withstand the test of time. Sorry, and so I feel like this is very apropos for this kind of discussion.
Great, thank you. Martina, you have launched your collection a year ago, is that right? Yes, and you're primarily focused on the interior world, and you're using wool. What are some of we talked about moths earlier, and we talked about flame retardants and some of the issues around that. Maybe you'd like to share sort of, and your transparencies that you're working on. Yeah.
Sharing and tackling those issues.
Yes.
I would speak first about already the constraints that we had with the wool and with the French wool.
Okay.
Because in our project, we source wool, animal fibers, from Europe and especially from France, within the special France 2030 program.
Okay.
So it means that we need to work with an existing resource which is considered as a waste and that is disposable in large volume, and so that we can actually use for different applications. My associate is architect and textile designer. And so the collection has been, of course, eco-conceived for home application and interior application. My background is in fashion. And we have actually, I would say, 90% of the collection is for interior, but 10% of the collection is totally suitable for fashion. Why I'm saying that is that because we think that the interior designer is a big market and that we really think that they are ready to go for a solution. Before, attending our first exhibition, because it's the first time that we are showing in a professional exhibition, we did some private showroom in Paris, because we are located in France, between Brittany and Paris, and we met already different actors from that field. Fortunately, we already sold some of our fabrics to fashion, as you were saying. So we feel that they are as well a little bit more ahead. But interior design is there. The specificity of our fabrics, first, that they are without chemical products. Before going back to your questions.
Yes, I also wanted to talk about your dyes, because you're using natural dyes and we need durability, don't we?
Exactly.
So this is a big sort of challenge within the interiors world. Is durability is much more important, like Arthur said.
Because we want to promote actually fabrics without microplastics. This is, our first goal. We don't want to pollute the ocean with microplastic.
Okay. Called human ocean.
Exactly.
Where did human ocean come from?
Human ocean.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
So, the challenge actually is to eco-conceive as well. Natural dyes protocols, ecological natural dyes protocol, and durable protocol. So this is actually one of our fabrics, and it is a durable fabrics because we have the highest level in terms of solidity, in terms of light solidity and washing solidity. So those are our first solution.
Okay, great.
And now, in regards to fire retardant solution,
it's a huge problem.
This is a huge problem in interior architecture and hospitality field. We are investigating, those solutions, and we know how to handle that, but we are clearly lacking in terms of funds. It's clear. We cannot, and this is, a problem that needs to be shared with everyone. And as we are, handling those R&D projects, we know that we can work with our different clients on those projects so that have specific, solution. So this is how I want to address those solutions.
And Roni, how are you with your products going into because you started in fashion and you're transitioned now more into interiors. How are you handling those issues?
Yeah, so actually in the beginning, that's why fashion is such a better first market, because you don't have the fire standards or even abrasion standards of interior design, or home goods, even plush toys. For example, that's...
You're really pushing that plush toy.
Well, I'm just super passionate about it. Yeah. Both plush toys and home and interiors, all of these fluffy things that are constantly around us, that's all super shedders of microplastics.
Yes.
And then home and interiors, the standard is much higher for fire retardancy than in the fashion industry. And then, if you take a natural material, you put some chemicals in it to make it fireproof, you did nothing by that. So it took us a really long time, but then eventually we did find we found a bio-based solution for a fire retardant, which is how we were able to take the hemp, nettle, and flax materials and make them fireproof without adding harmful chemicals on them. And then we did create a new line that is also naturally from the actual polymers fireproof, and that also helps it because you don't need to add anything to it. But that's another reason why fashion is a bit of an easier first market for these materials.
Yeah, and what about mycelium is flame retardant?
Yeah. And also we actually have a really interesting project to prepare right now. Actually, we spin off for the Hyundai, but Hyundai also do the business for the elevator. So we're going to do the interior for the Hyundai elevator for right now.
Okay.
But I think it's quite really hard to prove something in the data. But actually, Hyundai elevator also planning to as marketing and a promotion. So that it is okay, because they also, but I think for the fashion industry, they always eager to mycelium should be 100%. Please do not put any chemicals inside it, and just don't put any kind of fabrics on the back of it. But the home interior is kind of naive to they always okay to you can put a little bit of a chemical, and also you can put fabric with it, because they think about the functionality the most important. So what I'm feeling that. That's quite really different from the fashion, yeah. Okay,
and maybe we can start with how you each started and the kind of barriers that you've had going more into with the interiors market. Why don't we start with you, Martina? How did you get started very quickly?
I started actually 10 years ago.
Okay.
So, because I'm coming from the fashion industry, and it was really a way to change the whole system. So when you want to change the whole system, you need to deconstruct to reconstruct, on another way. So, and the main, how to start is material and process. So you need to find and to select a resource which have the minimal impact on environment, on biotop, and etc. And consider as well the availability of the resource, and this is the first point. And then the process together. And as I'm coming from fashion and from the luxury segment, design quality is not a compromise. You need to have that. Otherwise, you don't sell, and you are not, you need to be attractive, and so it took quite a long time, to put together even this authentication methodology,
Yes, you have quite a complex system, don't you?
Exactly, it's a complex system.
If anyone's interested in their product, they have a very interesting, complex system that she has said that she could take on to put in other countries.
Exactly, because it's what you see there. It's a pilot.
Yes,
we've done that with wool mérinos d'Arles, with French alpaca coming from Corrèze. and madder coming from France. So we have, I mean, like almost a 100% fabric created and produced in France. So it's amazing. And regarding the standard of excellence that we put together, we consider actually resources which are coming from the country and which are developed into that country with their know-how and with innovation process, so that we come up to very short circuit solution. And so what I see is how we can collaborate each other on different solutions and create new lifestyle. And
Okay, so that's how you started.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. And Arthur, you want to share us how you started?
Yeah, well, I used to be on the other side of the fence because I used to be an architect.
Okay.
So I was more on the side of prescribing furniture to different clients.
Your chairs are very architectural.
Thank you.
Also, maybe you want to also describe the fact that your chairs are, you can take things off and put them back.
Yeah,
that's a really interesting
That's kind
component.
of how we
Yeah.
went to it because
Yeah.
basically Polimair was born of two realizations. The first one was we in the company that I used to work for, we had a lot of like high-profile clients, and most of them fashion luxury clients doing like big business, big buildings and offices, and they had this need for durable furniture. But everything that we came up with in terms of showing them solutions was never okay, because this idea of the quality level needs to be top notch. It was always important, and also there was this discussion that was always going on those circles, was like, I don't want it to look like trash. That was kind of the idea, like. And most of the furniture back then, like recycled furniture, was like showing the trash that it came from, instead of showing the material that once was trash. But the idea is that the material is something more noble. And so that was the idea with plastic and with Polimair as a design company.
What about the idea of the parts?
Kits, exactly.
Because that's really interesting.
Because we said, like, if you go the full route, if you want to work with recycled plastic, then you need to be sure that it's actually durable. It's not going to end up in the trash 5 years down the road. It's the same as like with chemicals in your natural fibers and stuff like this. So basically the idea is that if you want to make plastic durable, you need to have two things running for you. First is prescribe it indoor so that it doesn't get wasted by the element. And the second part is that for any furniture, the only durable way is the kit form. Because if something breaks, you can actually change a piece. You can change this part of the chair, the backrest, the sitting. The same if you get tired of one color, you can just add one touch of color on the chair, not change the whole
How
chair.
many parts is your chair?
It's four big chairs. It's the three legs and the sitting, and then there's like three big recycled plastic screws that you screw with a screwdriver that is inside the sitting. So the idea is that you always have the right tool. It's always easy to assemble, easy to disassemble.
But do the legs also go into the stool, right? So you can.
It's not the same legs,
it
but
isn't?
the stool
Okay.
is going to be the legs of the stool already on works for another project.
Okay.
And the idea is
Yeah.
kind of this: is that as soon as the company is growing, we kind of are trying to set up a grammar basically, and whatever furniture comes next, it always be on top of one part of the previous one. So always come up with new ideas, but try to use different parts so that you can work with the
Interchange
tools
it.
that you
Yeah, it's
have.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. And Roni, how did you start, and what kind of barriers have you approached or come across?
So we started around 4 years ago, actually really being inspired by all the alternatives to leather, where we said, okay, there's all these amazing companies working on solutions, but why is nobody working on fur, which is such a sensitive topic, and of course all the other fluffy materials that come with it. So we started really from the fashion industry, trying to create an alternative for animal fur, for shearling, and then started to get more and more requests to also compete with the plastic fluffy materials. And then through the fashion industry, actually, through one of the innovation awards, the Andam Innovation Award, which is a fashion award, We met Andrea Rosso, who is actually, he's somewhere around here. I just saw him before. And he is the Global Sustainability Ambassador for OTB Group, which is Diesel, Margiela, Marnie, Jill Sander. And he has his own interior design brand with his wife. And he said, I love this material so much. I want it in my home. Can we do something with my interior design brand? So that was kind of our first touch point with the interior design world. And we've extended that collaboration through 3 design weeks. And from that, we started to get more and more requests and inquiries from different designers and brands and projects. One that I find really cool, they do actually the entire structure of the chairs and the tables from mycelium and hemp, and then they upholster it with our materials, so then the entire thing is at the end compostable. But it's been challenging to adapt the materials into the interior space and to adapt both the quality and then also to find the right partners that have the right mindset, because fashion is a lot more experimental, fast paced, is willing to try these new things. Interiors, it took a while to find these brands that really understand our vision. But the more we go out there and do collaborations and show how the product can be used in different contexts, the more that we get then approached or connected to other type of collaborators.
Okay, thank you. What about you? How have you started working with the mycelium project?
Yeah, so actually our company is not just for the making the materials. Actually, we can say Mycel is a mycelium platform. So actually we do 2 business for the mycelium. So we manufacture the mycelium in the material, but there is trash, I can say, the bio residue. So we're using that one for the cosmetic, getting more bright in your face, and also we're using for a soil restoration as well. And also actually at the first time, about 5 years ago, we started a business with mycelium meat, replace the steak for the vegetarian. And also we made a styrofoam for construction. But we try to focus on more luxury and the fashion brand, a material for 4 years ago. But actually we got the prize from the ICFF in New York as sustainable the material for the home interior.
That's recently, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which
So
is
that's the
great.
reason why we
very
sell.
cool.
So we just felt like there is potential we can do tapping for the home interior more and more. And also there is typical of the home interior product furniture or something interior design, but we try to expand it our site for home interior, a wall panel or something for construction. Yeah. So we want to tapping for a home interior more and more. So that's the reason why we also in the design Shanghai, we made a really beautiful table with the mycelium collaborating designer from London. So yeah, so that is our story, and also that's the reason why we want to expand the more business for home interior and more and more.
Okay, great, thank you. I want to talk about projects for the future. Maybe we can start with you, Martina. What's your plans for the future moving forward?
We have actually different projects. To start, R&D projects. On what we call, finished products. Including our fabric solution, which are adapted to special customer.
Okay.
So this is the first thing. The second thing, the project now today, our goal now is to sell, the turnkey solution that we have, because our startup Human Ocean is a startup, and has been and is laureate France 2030. So what it means is that we have the support of the French government on that project, but it means as well that we have to bring the complementary funding. We need to sell, and this is really important now to increase the visibility of our solution, of Human Ocean, and as well our methodology of authentication, because this is on that fair that we are launching our QR code, which will retranscript the impact and benefits of the fabrics.
Can we talk about your dyes as well?
And the dyes. Alors,
Yeah.
the dyes,
You have a very particular color palette.
alors, we don't
Yeah.
have, a very extensive
No, it's very specific. Yeah.
palette
yeah.
of colors, but this is our choice because we have constraints. Okay, so we start with madder, and it's madder roots, which are collected here in France and then extracted into natural extracts. So that we can use them for our natural dyeing process.
And
And
you
the
don't have a
next-
problem with the color, losing the color.
Sorry?
There's no problem with losing the color.
No, 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 no. Actually,
Okay.
we are doing all the ecotoxicity tests. So this is what we are going actually to explore further when we have consolidate as well the complementary funds that we are looking in the program 2030 is to demonstrate the well-being of our fabrics dyed with natural extract. Because today, 99% of the dyeing is issued from petrochemicals. So this is a big challenge that we need to tackle. And yes, and so far, we know that our solution are there are no toxic. There is no toxicity, for us and as well for the environment. I mean, for both. But where we want really to go even further is to demonstrate that maybe there are some benefits.
Okay, fantastic. Arthur, what do you have plans for the future?
So I'd say that the biggest plan as a whole for Polimair is to show that you can really build a brand on those principles that are really constraints, because all the furniture that we need to pull out needs to be 100% recycled plastic, it needs to be in kit and made in France. So this is in a whole challenge, but the idea is that with the chair, now with the stool, we showcase that this was not just a spur of the moment thing. It was a concept and a process that could be applied to industrial scale. And so the goal for Polimair for the next 5-10 years is to showcase that you can actually work on very specific pieces inside the home, but never going to the easy route, which is basically redoing cheap small object in plastic. The goal is to show that you can have really durable furniture, pieces that you would want to keep in your house, and that will never be I don't know, like an empty pocket in the living room or stuff like this. It has to be furniture that has an intent, and we will try to expand. And the only rule that we have is the furniture itself needs to be 100% recycled plastic, but there can be some accessories, basically, that could utilize some other materials, but this will never be part of the furniture itself. So always detachable, always. So we're working with, I think we'll try to work with you guys actually on textile and padding cushions and stuff like this, which obviously you cannot do recycled plastic. But the idea is that everything that it comes down to as an object, as a furniture, would be one material, and we have to strive for this in the long run.
Is your sourcing, is it finite, or it just continues? It's over. You have
Well,
a infinite source of material in terms of the hospital material, I guess.
So in terms of the material itself, there will be like, I think this hospital, specifically in Belgium, they're putting out around 25 ton a year of just this specific plastic, so it's a lot. But the reality behind it is that recycled plastic is a market that is really tied to the virgin plastic market. And as soon as the prices of the virgin plastic markets go up, then you will see big corporations go back to quality sourcing plastic and material.
Right.
So to say that this will still be the same plastic in 2 years, 4 years, it's really impossible. The only way that we have to protect ourselves is to choose a plastic that is widely spread. So polypropylene in a sense is most of your outdoor furniture, most of your medical equipment, most of anything like toys, stuff like this. So it's a plastic that really exists in nature, unfortunately.
So you have a big source to dip into if you're using a
Exactly,
specific.
but it's hard to know if it will remain the same. And
Right.
maybe it's also having like multiples.
Right.
So 2 years we're not going to use one sourcing, and maybe
Right.
we go back to it when it's a bit more open.
So you have to be quite flexible, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
and very specific and precise on the sourcing of the material,
Right.
because when you're doing stuff like this, you need a high quality level of recycled plastic, so high quality of sorting. So that's kind of a
Because you're using clear plastic, so you're adding color. is
yeah,
that right?
exactly.
Yeah.
We're adding
Okay.
color, and this is on the chemical side, because we're doing technical, not biological construction and production. And the only problem that we have right now is that there's two things that we cannot have find solution for, and it is the dye. So it's interesting that once again in fashion, like natural dyes are really working right now. It's something that we have a lot of solution for, and in plastic it's very different. So you have very small opportunities on this, and most of the time it's not something that you can guarantee from one production to the other. So we're still running on not chemical but mineral dyes, which
Right.
is not harmful for the environment and the person, but because the extraction of mineral is always something very costly environmentally, something that we need to work on and be attentive to in the
Okay, so this
next
is one of your
years.
barriers in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we will have barriers in different areas. Yeah, thank you for that. Roni, what have you got for the future? Any projects that you want to share?
Yeah, so one of the things that I really want to do in the home and interior space is cushions and throws, especially like with a commercial brand. So we've done a lot of the more design-oriented, showcase type of brands in the interior space, but we haven't done yet like pillows and throws that are commercially available to buy. And people come up and say, "Oh, I want to cuddle up with this." So that's something that we're really working on with a few different brands. And then obviously plush toys.
Okay. Back to the kids.
Yeah. Back to the kids, you know.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good area though. So that is a plush toy. That is all made out of
100% bio-based.
Amazing.
So usually
amazing.
it would all be, plastic and super shedders of microplastic.
Yeah, amazing. That's really great. And where is that produced?
So the actual toy
Yeah.
is made in Indonesia with one of our factory partners, and then the material itself is made in China, because that's one of the things that the toy brands and also a lot of the home interiors, that like the more mass markets and real, for pillows and throws, that's where most of the actual materials are being made and where the construction is being made. So a lot of brands were saying, we're not going to ship a fabric that's made in Italy to then being constructed in China and then be shipped to the US to
Right,
sell.
your carbon footprint is off the charts, right? And what are you stuffing it with, by the way? Just
With it depends. So we've had some with capbook, but that's already dependent on the brand.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's presumably healthy as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. And you talked about the elevator, but is there anything else that you're working on for the future at the moment?
We actually have another project, not just for the Hyundai elevator. We have a project with the fashion brand as well.
Okay.
And also we are actually talking with the Allmark. So we're developing a new material, like a coil. We're going to make the thread together. So,
that's
they're going to
cool.
sponsor for like a recycle O for us. So we're going to make it more like, high strength of the coil with the Allmark. And also, not just for the making material, we have a hallmark right now as the mycelium material. Because like people think mycelium is the replaced leather, and also there is a lot of stereotype. So we try to make repositioning what is a mycelium material to people. So I think education is quite really important part to like what is new material. Because like mycelium is not the harvested, and also it's not the recycling something. Actually mycelium is a grow material. It's like just like, live something. So we try to educate the people what is mycelium, and also we try to let people know the potential of the mycelium, how it can be, change the world, and also
Change the world.
yeah, we just
Excellent.
like to think about
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
good.
Because
Yeah.
the things that,
Yeah.
as I told you, we are not only do the business for the making the material, we using for the soil restoration. So that is our motto that like survive this world. So that is really
Okay.
huge homework for us, for our company. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to go to questions now, if I can get this working, that is. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can access this. Okay. Questions open. One question open. Okay. Okay. Do clients ask questions regarding the process and positive impact of your materials before buying it, or do they only care about the design? So I don't know who that's from, but it's a very good question. So maybe why don't we start with Roni, and then do you think that's important in interior design at the moment? I don't know. Does anyone want to fess up to asking the question? It's a very good question, by the way. No one wants to tell. Okay, it's top secret, but it's a good question. Yeah.
Listen, I think that the most important thing is the aesthetic, the touch, and the quality of the material, and then sustainability and the stories and added bonus. Like that's how most clients and brands look at it. And you can have the most beautiful story and the best carbon footprint and the best, everything could be perfect. But if the touch and the aesthetic and the quality is not what they want, it will never get anywhere. So that is the most important thing. And then obviously, you make everything, as all the companies here, we all try to make everything the best we can and the best for the planet and human health. But you do have to, if you want to work, especially in the top of interior design or fashion or wherever it is, you have to hit those aesthetic and hand feels.
Okay, so somebody's asking you particular, we're going to go back to all of you, but they were asking particularly about your bio-based fire retardant, which is quite interesting. I'm sure that a lot of people want to know about that bio-based fire retardant. What is that?
So actually, there's two companies which we've been working with, and I'm happy to share that, like on the side. There's one in the UK, which is really great, and one in Italy. And I think there's a lot of innovation going on in that space. A lot of other startups, which I wish they would come here in the future years.
Yeah.
And it's all about finding just the ones that are working on materials that, for us, it's cellulosic fibers.
Okay.
So we just found.
So whoever
two
asks the
startups.
question, you just ask Roni.
Please come. I'm happy to
top
share.
Secret, yeah. Okay, and then what about with you? Are people asking Arthur? Do clients ask questions about process and positive impact?
Well, actually, that's once again another thing.
Or do they only care about
like,
design?
Yeah, I feel like we're
far
behind.
Right.
That if the furniture is nice, there's not a lot of questions.
Okay.
Basically, the only question is like, if it's recycled, if it's durable in a sense, it gets a plus.
Right.
But the problem with that is that then all solutions are kind of laid on the table the same way. So if you can be very greenwashy and go the full extent, and it would kind of appear the same on the desk of a client. So that's also one of the things in interiors that we need to push for, because we need to have like a real interest in the process, in whoever is doing what and how. That's why I'm very specific on also telling like the limitation about the dyes.
Of the
about,
plastic,
like, we use the only chemical agent, so it's 1% of the full mass of the chair, but we do have to use anti-UV components into the chair. And basically the question comes down to like, if you don't use it, your red chair is going to be pink in a matter of like 4 to 5 years. So if you want to be durable, if you do technical materials like this, you have to go the full way. And it's a shame that this discussion is always comes down to, is it recycled? Yes, so it's good. Or no, I don't like it.
Well, somebody's just asked, I don't know who, about the carbon footprint, I guess particularly with your materials, because obviously there's issues with the process and carbon footprint.
So what
Perhaps more than everyone else here,
I
possibly.
think so, yeah. Well,
yeah.
because it's heavy, it's bulky.
Well, you said you're
material.
also using injecting molding,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you're using a lot more energy.
So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we do is that we work with an outside independent company in France who's called Eco Impact, and what they're specialized in doing ACV, or in English it's actually life cycle analysis, so LCA, sorry, studies on furniture brands and especially like furniture collections, and their goal is to go past the greenwashy statement and say, okay, what does it comes down to? And the idea for the chair is that the grade is A on between A to D. It's like same Nutri-Score and stuff like this. And for one chair, the equivalent is an economy, a less minus 55% of environmental footprint compared to a regular chair on the market, like the middle ground chair.
Okay.
So for a chair, it's really nice, but for a plastic chair, it's kind of unheard of because plastic is always very consuming. And the way we can manifest this is that because we're working in France and most of our energy is kind of decarbonized because of nuclear plants, actually melting plastic is way less impactful in France than it would be in Germany, in Italy, and places like this.
All right, thank you. Unfortunately, we have our time is up. Both of your materials are already. I think they come to you for a material that has a positive impact. They already know that. I think that recycled plastic and the fake fur. We already have associations with polyester, with petroleum. So I think if they come to mycelium and also your natural wool fabrics, we already sort of have a endemic knowing. But I want to thank you all for joining us, and that's it. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you.